Gretchen and Miss Becca. Say hi, Miss Becca.
Hello.
We are here for STEM Club today. As a reminder, STEM Club is for grades roughly 3rd through 8th, but you can always adjust the experiments for different grade levels from kindergarten up to high school. Obviously, the higher up you go, the more complicated you want to make it. The lower you go, the more simple you're going to make it. So we're going to do a couple different weather experiments today, just because weather has been a little crazy around Kansas in the October and November time frame. So we're going to go ahead and do some experiments of our own just to see what's going on outside. So the first one we're going to do is, why do leaves change color? The basic, straightforward answer is sun. Chlorophyll is what leaves use to create oxygen, take the carbon dioxide in, all this. There's a huge process to it. But we're going to go ahead and show you how to see the different levels of the color changing in action in less than 2 hours, as opposed to waiting days and days for the trees to change their colors. So what you're going to need for this experiment is some rubbing alcohol. You probably have some at home. 3 leaves from the same tree. This is very important. They have to be from the same tree. Don't get from different trees around the neighborhood. You'll need a coffee filter. We'll have one of those included in your bag. We're going to have a mason jar included in your bag. You're going to use this for a couple different experiments, so just remember you're going to use this over and over again. And for this one, you want just the ring. You don't need the lid as well. So right now you just need the ring. You're going to need a spoon or a mallet or something that you can use to squish and mush up your leaves. You're going to need either a plastic wrap or a baggie, and then a pair of scissors, and then hot water. This is something, if you are younger, please have your parents help you, or whoever your guardian is, or whoever your big helper is. It could be big sis, big brother. Just make sure that this is really hot water, so you don't want to burn yourself. All right, so what we're going to first do, take our leaves. We're going to must take out 3 really good ones. And you're going to pour your rubbing alcohol. This is going to take a little bit to go over your leaves, and it kind of stinks, so just remember that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to kind of squish and masticate. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually scrunch up these, because these have, unfortunately, with the weather we've had recently, the leaves have already started their process. So I'm going to just kind of crunch them up a little bit. If you have some that are a little drier, or maybe not squishing as easy, just kind of go ahead and use your old hands and just squish it up. And then you're going to just get them all in the alcohol. And so ours have already started, so I'm just going to go ahead and grab a couple extra leaves. I'm going to make it extra leafy. And this, again, something you guys can decide on what you want to do. But make sure they're all covered with the rubbing alcohol. Just a little bit. If you can look, the alcohol is actually starting to turn a little green, just lightly green right just this minute, but it's releasing some of the chlorophyll into the alcohol. And then what we're going to do next, this is where you're going to need your helper, or if you're an older kid, just be very, 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 very careful. You're going to put your leaves and alcohol inside of a bowl, a deep lidded or mouthed bowl, so it doesn't make a big mess. And then you're going to pour your hot water on the outside of your jar until it comes to about the level that the alcohol inside the jar is. And that's when you're going to take your either your baggie or your there we go. You're going to either use your baggie or your plastic wrap, and you're gonna seal it and cover it. You're gonna let this sit for 30 minutes, and if you want, you can always set a timer for 30 minutes. Set a timer for 30 minutes. All right, and then you just put this to the side. After a few minutes, you might wanna jiggle it a little bit and just kind of squish it around a little bit and let it just sit. So we're gonna put this off to the side, and we're gonna start working on our next experiment. Okay. All right, so the next one we're gonna do is the water cycle in a bag. So it's basically so you can watch how water evaporates into the air, and then it comes back down into rain, and then it goes back into the water. So it's basically a very simplified version of how our water system works. Today, Miss Alina is gonna help me today and do our experiment. So the first thing we need to do is you're gonna need water. Believe it or not, there is water in here. 1/4 cup sized measuring spoon. You're gonna need your instructions that are in your bag. You're gonna need some food coloring if you want. You do not have to put food coloring in it if you don't want to, but you know, let's make it fun. And if you want to decorate your bag, a marker. Also, you're going to need a very sunny window, so a window that gets a lot of sun, and some masking tape or painter's tape or something like that to stick it to your window. So the first thing you're gonna do is take your Sharpie, and at the top of your baggie, you're going to draw some clouds and a sun. Now draw the sun. Good job. I'm gonna put some rays on it. So there you go, there's our sun and our clouds. And as you see, this is gonna be a much bigger baggie than what you have in your bag. We just happen to have some gallon-sized ones, that's what Miss Gretchen did. So I'm gonna actually double the amount of liquid you're gonna put in the bag, but that's okay, just follow the instructions that's in the instruction book. All right, so we're gonna measure 1/4 cup water. Can you know how to get this here? There you go. Can you get it? You got it? You're gonna hold the bag, or do you wanna do the measure? Okay, so I'm gonna put it in here. And I think I'm gonna possibly triple it. So, and you guys know what that means when we do say double it or triple it? So a double means you put twice as much as what the instructions ask for. And a triple the order, or the recipe, means two. What do you think it means? What does it mean if we're tripling it? If it's one more than double.
That's putting
3 times as now. All right, so I think that looks good. And then go ahead and pick me out a color. And you're gonna wanna make this fun. I like colors. I don't know if anybody's noticed that about me. What color do you like? You want the blue? All right, so you wanna hold the bag for me, open it up? Good job. And do we want it really dark blue, or do we want it light blue?
maybe light.
So medium blue? Okay, so basically this is where the fun part is. You figure out how dark you want your water. Let's mix it up a little bit. So how blue is that? Is that good blue? More blue or less blue?
It's
We
good.
can't do less blue, so,
Good.
okay. All right, first things first, always make sure you have your lid on your food coloring, or your parent type person will be very upset with you. Now we're gonna make sure we close the bag really good, because this is part of what's gonna make it work. So see how that all clicked? Okay, now can you test it? Make sure it's closed.
Closed.
It is closed. All right, so then the next step you're gonna do is you're gonna take your bag and you're gonna tape it to the sunniest window you have in your house and let the sun work on it. And what it'll do is it's gonna evaporate, the water is gonna go up in here, it's gonna evaporate to the top of the bag. And then when it gets up here, it's gonna get cooler and it's gonna condense, and then it's gonna become rain, and it's gonna come right back down the bag into your lake or your pond or your swimming pool or whatever you wanna call it. So we'll show you what this looks like later. We are going to put this in a window at the library. So if you want to stop by, actually I take that back. Don't stop by, it won't be in the window anymore because we can only have it up for so long. But we will go ahead and record some of what we see happening in the window. Go.
Hey guys, it's Miss Becca and I have a guest, Miss Sophia, with me. Say hello.
Hi.
Before we start our next experiment, let's go ahead and check in on our leaves and see how they're doing. So we've had them sitting aside for a few minutes now. We're gonna go ahead and carefully grab the jar and just kind of give them a wiggle. And if you can see, that water is definitely turning more green now. So give them another good wiggle and another good shake and set them back in that warm water and then let it rest again for a little bit. Okay, now we're going to move on to our cloud experiment. What you'll need, of course, is your instructions from your bag, some shaving cream, a cup of water, and of course, food coloring. So, Sophia, what color would you like to make our rain?
Green.
We want green rain. Okay, that's something we haven't seen before. What you'll do, first thing, is take your shaving cream, and you want to make a nice fluffy cloud on top of your water. Okay, you want to go ahead and do that for us?
Uh-huh.
Whoa, I think that's good.
Just a reminder, shaving cream expands.
Okay, and then our next step, really simple, is you take your food coloring and you drop it into your cloud and then wait and see what happens. I'm gonna go ahead and drop some food coloring. Try to get it a little bit more in the center so it doesn't go over the sides. Go. Put some on the other side a little bit. All right. Think that's good?
Yep.
And let's see what's going to happen.
And don't forget, you can use multiple colors too.
Would you like to use multiple colors? Okay, let's pick another color just to see. Rainbow rain is fun.
Let's do red.
Red. Is that white spaces? You've got a really fluffy cloud. Okay.
Now we just wait.
Here goes the red. You want to try to put a little bit more green in there and see if we can get green rain?
Where'd the rain go?
Oh, here it is, right in front of me. There we go. So what we did notice is that if you make your cloud a little too thick, it takes a very, very long time for your rain to come through. So we suggest making a smaller cloud, maybe with a few little air pockets in it to help the rain kind of start going. But there you get rainbow rain.
Rainbow rain. Awesome.
So cool.
All right, and then today, the last thing we're going to talk about is, well, not the last thing because we're going to go back to our leaves, but this is, actually, I'm sorry, this looks really cool. I'm going to move that because it's distracting. I'm a little bit of a squirrel. Since we did our cloud in the jar, I thought it would be kind of cool, and it's kind of fun, that we could make a cloud viewer that you take out into the backyard, on your walks, to see what kind of clouds are in the sky, because there's lots of different kinds of clouds. As you can see, there are very many different kinds of fair weather clouds. If you see stormy clouds, do not go outside, please. Stay inside, stay safe. So what you'll need is the piece of paper with all of your clouds on it, piece of cardstock that we're going to send with you, a couple popsicle sticks if you need a handle. If you don't want a handle, you don't have to do that step. And then you'll need some kind of glue. I think glue sticks will work best. And of course, handy dandy scissors. So what we're going to do first is you're going to take your paper and go ahead and get nice and glued. Try to put your glue around the edge because we're going to cut the middle out. As you can see, my glue stick shrunk. My first one was dried out, so Miss Becca came to the rescue and I had some more glue. So let's go ahead and just put glue, make it as much as you feel you need, because remember, we do live in Kansas. the land of crazy wind. So you may want to make sure you have glue on there so it doesn't catch your paper. And then you're gonna go ahead and put your paper on your cardstock. Just make it as even as you want. Basically, the cardstock is to make it a little stiffer for you so that you can hold it and it doesn't fall over in the wind. It'll, instead of going like that, it'll be more solid. Okay. So once you have all your glue down, we're gonna cut out the center of your square. If you need help with a grown-up, an adult, big sister, big brother, whichever you want to do, but the easiest way is you just fold it a little bit in half and just cut in the middle, and then just cut around. Make it whatever, you can make it a circle, you can make it a square, whatever works for you, so you have something you can view your clouds with. So give me just a minute, I'll get that cut out for you. Go, we have our viewing circle. So if you want to put a handle on it, you got a couple options. You've got a couple popsicle sticks that'll be in your bag, and you can use your glue stick to glue them down, or if you happen to have some washi tape, duct tape, scotch tape, the painter's tape we used for the water cycle experiment, any of those will work. So I'm just going to go ahead, so we don't have to wait for it to dry, I'm just going to go ahead and use a little bit of washi tape. Alright, so go ahead, and you should always have a really good friend like Miss Becca who retrieves things when you drop them and helps you out with your glue. Alrighty, and just one more. My timer should be going off. Remember, we set that alarm, and it has 4 minutes left before we do the next step. So while we're waiting for the last 4 minutes, we're gonna go ahead and go outside and see if we can catch some clouds in our cloud viewer. So we're outside and we got our cloud finder, and as you can see, there's all kinds of really cool clouds in the sky. So let's see what we see. So I like these guys over here. Let's see if we can find them. And that, I bet you those are altocumulus clouds, the ones where they're kind of sketchy. And then if you look over here, where we got that big bake of it, I bet you it's the cumulonimbus. Miss Gretchen does not pronounce right. And then if we look over here, those could be cumulus. What do you think?
Yep, they look like they could be cumulus to me.
Yep. Cumulus, that's a word. And if we look up here, that looks like some altocumulus, which just means alto is higher, so that's pretty cool. So when you guys get this done, definitely show us what you guys find in the clouds. Take some pictures with your cloud finder and tell us what you find.
Okay, friends, as you can see, this is our water cycle that's taped up to our window in the library. It's been sitting here for a couple of days, and if you notice, we've got a lot of raindrops going on in there. The condensation has started to happen. It's not so sunny today, but over the last few days it was sunny, and you can see we've got rain on the inside. So the heat from the sun on the outside of the window helped heat up the water. It evaporated up into the bag where it started to condensate up at the top, and then it created the rain to fall back down. Pretty cool, right? Hope you had fun with this one. Be sure you try it at home and show us in the comments below.
All right, so we're back to our leaf experiment, and Miss Becca, I don't know if you can come in and see, but this is also giving you a really good example of condensation. If you look right inside of here, see that bubble of liquid that's forming? It's from the heat coming up, and you'll see all the way around the bag. Oh, there's our timer. But you'll see we've got condensation building up, and it's actually rained a little bit. So there you go. There's your water cycle in action. All right, so what we're gonna do now is that we've had this sitting for 30 minutes. So your next step is you're gonna take the coffee filter you had in your bag and your scissors, and we're gonna cut it into a strip. Okay, so then you go ahead and you're gonna open your jar. And you guys aren't gonna use your baggie again, but you're not gonna use it again anywhere else either. Just go ahead and toss it. So if you can see, I don't know how well you can see, but it is pretty green in there, isn't it? So next, we're gonna go ahead and pull this out. We're done with our hot water. I'm going to use my scraps to gather my water. You're going to put your coffee filter in the water with your leaves, and you're going to let it sit for about 2 hours. And so what I'm going to do, just so that my coffee filter doesn't fall down, is I'm just going to put a little bit of tape on it and hold on to it. So while we step away, we're gonna come back and check on it occasionally, but what's gonna happen is as the rubbing alcohol evaporates, it's literally gonna travel up the coffee filter, and we're gonna see what happens with that. So we'll see you in a few minutes, okay? All right, guys, so it's been a couple hours, and I feel that this may not have worked all the way because our leaves that we started with had already started changing. So try when you find your leaves to find the greenest leaves with the most green on them, okay? We might try this, you might try this also, grab some orange leaves and some yellow leaves and see what you get. So this is how ours turned out, and as you can see, it's really not changed too much color, but what I think will happen as it evaporates, I think we're gonna get a little bit of a tint to it, but not a lot, because our leaves had already had a frost and they were already turning yellow. So unfortunately, as you can see, not too much color change, but the process is still the same. So what you can do is, even remember this video when we have new leaves come in the spring, and try it. See if maybe different kinds of trees do different kinds of leaves, because as you can see, our rubbing alcohol definitely turned color. So there is a little bit of chlorophyll in there, but it's probably not as much as we'd like. But that's what science is all about. You experiment, you try, and you try again. And you keep trying till you find a result. So we'll let this air dry and evaporation and see what happens. But unfortunately, it's very hard to see. There is a tiny bit of green in there, but not a lot. But on the other hand, we did try, and that's the most important thing. So please drop in the comments below any of your experiments you do. Show us if they work. Show us if they don't work. Tell us what you think would work better. Tell us what you think would make this work better than what we did. So you guys have a good day. We'll see you soon.